is your boy G Baby, the one half of Unemployed Commentators, and I'm joined by the Gary Miller. What's up,
Yeah, dude.
motherfucker?
I'm the other 1/3, dude, of the one half.
Yeah, exactly. The 1/4 of the 1/8 of the 1/3 and the one half, man.
You know what it is, dude.
Hell yeah, because I suck at math, dude.
Hell yeah, me too.
This episode, we're going to be going over my favorite sport of all time. If you call it a sport, I don't know. I call it sports entertainment because I am a WWE fanatic. It's going to be pro wrestling.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm excited. This is our first pro wrestling episode.
Yeah, I know. Do
I
you
even got some homemade trail mix for this, dude.
like a real pro wrestling fan? Do you watch pro wrestling, Gary?
Hell yeah, dude. I went the last year. I went to a WWE event
Which one?
here in it was Monday Night Raw.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I went to, I think it was a year ago or 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago. It was a Friday Night SmackDown.
Mm,
Yeah, dude, it
that
was
was
so
fun.
dope. It's so much fun to go to those.
In person, it's different. Like you see everything kind of
Mhm.
happening. Like when they come on the jumbotron, it's super cool.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
I think Ben Bryant, I think his name, was doing the Fiend character too.
Oh, it's Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
He was doing the Fiend character in the Firefly Funhouse, and I was like, "This is so cool!"
Yeah.
Like
No,
the
the
whole arena.
storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
The storytelling when it comes to Bray Wyatt's character is ridiculous, dude. He's
Yeah.
been planning this character 5 years ago
Wow.
through tweets.
It's a phenomenal character. Reminded me like when I was younger how much I loved like the Undertaker and Kane and that motif, and even the I think it was the Brethren with the vampire. It was like a vampire brother. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the Brood.
The Brood. It was so dark and
It
it
was
was.
like Edge and Christian and
Mhm.
Gangrel, who was like the head of it.
Yeah, and like all that stuff was so much fun, dude.
Oh, dude. So we're gonna be going over a classic. It's gonna be Dusty Rhodes versus Bruiser Brody. It's in Houston, Texas, August 11th, 1978. If you want to
Holy
watch this
cow!
along with us, this is really old. This is during NWA, which they were like the number one pro wrestling company during the 70s. That's why Ric Flair is the legend that he is now, because he was
Mhm.
like the champion. So after Dusty Rhodes was Ric Flair.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think before Dusty Rhodes was Harley Race, the king.
Because Dusty Rhodes, his son was Goldust, correct?
Yes,
Yep.
Goldust, and then right now is I think he's the president of AEW, and it's
Cody
Cody
Rhodes.
Rhodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just a long line of pro wrestling royalty at this point.
Goldust was so bizarre. I think when he came out, it was like him and Marilyn Manson at the same time
Yep.
pushing those gender barriers. I was like, it's so bizarre. I've never seen anything like that.
Did you know that Goldust actually wanted breast implants to make the character more bizarre? Bro, I feel like that's something you would do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's start on this first match, actually.
All right.
All right. Dusty Rhodes versus Bruiser Brody. So did you know Bruiser Brody was killed in Puerto Rico?
No idea.
Yeah, he was stabbed by a Puerto Rican pro wrestler.
Oh, he's screwing his head. I love that.
Yeah. So he's like known as like a wild man back then. Like that was like his gimmick. He was like a wild like barbarian almost.
70s wrestling is some of my favorite shit.
Yeah, dude, it's the perfect like thing to watch and get high to.
Yeah.
You're like, damn, dude, what's going on during those times?
Dusty Rhodes. I could see it like before Ric Flair.
Yeah,
True.
he was actually a huge influence of Ric Flair.
That Ric Flair documentary on like the E60 or 30 for 30.
30 for 30.
Oh my God, those are so cool.
It was so good. I didn't expect them to do a 30 for 30 of Ric Flair.
I loved that. Was like one of my favorite ones.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's between that one. I like the Roberto Duran one too,
Mm-hmm.
with Sugar Ray Leonard. That one and the what was Oh, the Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell one.
I haven't seen that one.
That was good.
Mm-hmm.
You have ESPN Plus, right?
No,
Oh, okay.
no. All my friends do. That's how I check it out. I make friends with people. I go to their house.
Well, when you come to my apartment, bro, we'll watch the Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz one.
I like that.
Yeah. When are you coming down here?
After the election.
Okay, that's smart.
Mm-hmm.
Then we can have our first in-person Unemployed Commentators episode.
Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah, buddy.
It's like we've been online dating forever.
I know, right? Dude, I love how Dusty Rhodes walk, bro.
He's so goofy, dude.
He's
I love
so flamboyant, too.
Like the 80s was like super macho. You know what I mean? Bruiser Brody's just chilling.
You should watch. It's free on YouTube if you can find it. It's Bruiser Brody's episode on Dark Side of the Ring. That is made by Vice. They have a Chris Benoit episode too, but the Bruiser Brody episode is fucking crazy.
When you talked about him dying in Puerto Rico, so what happened?
So he was known like kind of like a bully, and I forgot. I don't have everything up to detail. Like I would recommend you watching Dark Side of the Ring, but really he put Carlos Colon and this. Yeah, Carlos Colon, who's a huge Puerto Rican legend. He's the one that's the father of Carlito, Caribbean Cool. I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool. Yeah, he's the father of that dude, and he felt like he was put in the corner, and Victor Jovica, I think he was a part of it, and they plotted his murder. Actually, that was the rumor.
Wow.
But it seems real, bro.
That's fucking insane.
It's as real as Epstein's not killing himself meme, bro.
But you know what's crazy about that too is like Vince McMahon is the type of person who's like, we're gonna work that into a storyline.
Yeah, for sure. Because Vince McMahon doesn't have levels. So
that episode too, I watched it when he called Booker T the N-word.
And no one has said a thing about it, bro.
No.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say? I think his is like textbook. Like he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna play this evil business like character. What are you gonna say about me? That I'm an evil business like character?
Yeah. I know. And he said it with so much like what's up, man? You know, and he just said it. I was like, what? Did he just say that?
It was like when we talk about emphasizing that word, people are always like, oh, it's the hard R. I was like, no, he had the hard G, dude.
Yeah. He did, man.
It was so weird.
He shouted that G like from the rooftops.
Yeah, the hard G, dude.
And we're not hard G's, but that was a hard G.
Yeah. I was like, holy shit. And when Booker T said that shit, when he's calling out Hulk Hogan too. I love that shit.
Bro, I remember watching it, I was like, I feel in trouble for like listening to that. Like just watching it.
Sorry, I just got an ad.
Me too. We had it at the same time.
Skipped it.
Hell yeah. Because we can't afford YouTube Premium, bro.
Like, you like ads? What about an ad within an ad?
Yep.
Cool.
I didn't know there was a Derrick Rose documentary.
There is?
Yeah, it's called Pooh.
Pooh.
P-O-H. The Derrick Rose story.
P-O-H?
No, P-O-O-H.
Pooh.
Like Pooh. Like Winnie the Pooh.
Interesting. Check that out. I like the sports documentaries. I think are some of the best, dude.
They're the best documentaries.
I think what's crazy is like some of these guys, I'm like, they have no idea what to do in their regular life.
For real.
I think like when your athletic career ends, a lot of times you're like, oh, I got to be a real adult. And a lot of us are prepared for that. Yeah. But then these guys, like they're starting their maturity in some ways. Like, and I say guys, but like girls too, like maturity, like whenever their career's done, almost to the point where you're like, oh, you're just now learning about like people have different viewpoints than you and stuff, you know?
It's crazy. I had this conversation with one of my best friends like years ago, and I was like, because we noticed this one friend who's very successful in the culinary arts world, and the thing is that emotionally and politically and in a socially way, he was just very immature. But if you ask him about anything when it comes to food,
Mm-hmm.
fucking genius. Like
Yeah.
he's been so at it at the game since he was a teenager that he was so mature in that aspect.
Mm.
So I was just telling him, yeah, he was always working. That's why he's a way that he is.
I'm sure people say the same shit about me. Like, I was thinking in the car today, I was like, man, I've made so many inappropriate jokes that like weren't funny. And I know why they're not funny now. And I want to wait to, oh my God, don't kick him in the nuts.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, got him. But to continue on that thought, it's like, oh yeah, the structure of the joke was totally wrong, and just saying shock value shit doesn't always
It doesn't
equate to
work all the
substance.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I was young, yeah, I was like, oh, anything that was like shock value, I was like, yeah, that's hilarious to me.
Bro, I love how you're crunching on these trail mix.
I love it, dude.
I can hear you crunching on these things.
Look at this. I want to give our listeners some ASMR, dude.
Yeah. So they can fall asleep to us.
Mm-hmm.
Did
Some
Bruiser
of
Brody
that,
just win?
yeah.
Oh wow. Hell yeah.
But oh, he injured him, or the the bell hasn't sounded.
No. Oh, this is like a 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah, sick.
They should have put that in the description.
Snuck up on him.
Yep. Bro, that's back then when dad bods were more accepted.
I was talking about that the other day. I was like, dude, if it was the '80s right now, I'd be a good looking dude.
Same, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, Ben Askren would be on the cover of GQ right now.
Right? Like, I looked at Tom Selleck and shit like that. I was like, dude,
Yeah,
you could
that's
have
my
like
body.
like an unironic mustache too.
Yeah. Because right now all mustaches are ironic.
Yeah, it's like, dude, did you see my mustache?
Yeah. Dude, I had a mustache like last year for a Halloween party. You'd be like, ah, sick, dude.
You know, and you had guys like Tom Selleck and Dale Earnhardt and shit.
Yep. So Dusty Rhodes won the second fall.
Okay, that was quick.
Yeah. Because he snuck up on him.
I feel like Dusty Rhodes. I mean, like, what I do love is like dad bods.
Yeah.
Like, these guys look like, all right, we're gonna get fucking pounded on beers before we do this shit.
Most of them were on drugs during this time.
Mm-hmm.
And the crazy thing about Bruiser Brody, though, he was like a legend in Japan.
Mm.
Huge legend in Japan, dude. And do you know who the pro wrestler Daniel Bryan?
Mm-hmm.
So on WrestleMania 30, if you notice, he has like these furry like shin pad boots. It's actually a nod to Bruiser Brody because he has the same like long hair and big beard.
That's dope.
Yeah, and Daniel Bryan was actually like he's actually a huge martial artist before a pro wrestler. Like he actually learned martial arts so he can be a good pro wrestler.
Really?
That's why his finisher called the Yes Lock used to be called the Label Lock, and it's actually an omoplata with a crossface.
It's like I remember Dean Malenko was like really good at the holds.
Yeah, he's like the
And-
man of 1,000 holds.
And Benoit too, but
Yeah.
the crossface crippler.
Yeah, we can't talk about him because if not, we'll get canceled.
Dude, isn't that crazy? Like I can separate the murdering psychopath.
I know, dude. Me too. I still think he was one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. One of them.
Yeah.
But I would always say Eddie Guerrero is like
Oh my
number
god,
one.
dude. That hurt so bad when he died.
Dude, I was so emotional.
I loved Eddie Guerrero. I think it was him and Rey Mysterio battling for the custody of
Yeah. Now his son is a pro wrestler in Raw, dude.
I love it.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit, both of those deaths, I cried about.
I will say this, like, say what you want about Trump, dude, but what other president has gone on wrestling and beat the fuck out of people, dude?
On WrestleMania, bro, the biggest
Yeah.
stage of them all.
Yep.
And
Dude,
it's funny. He picked up Bobby Lashley as his pro wrestler for that main event, and he's a Colorado guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he took classes from Benji.
Did he?
Yeah, you can find him on his Instagram.
That's funny, dude.
Yeah, he took classes from Benji before he went back to the WWE.
That's funny. I thought he was always pretty good. So Benji, you can watch him like doing his little cheating fucking plot line. Be like, I taught him that.
Yeah, because so you know, like Bobby Lashley was never really a charismatic pro wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
He was always like he was just a really good build dude, like Roman Reigns now.
Yeah.
He didn't really have much of a character development. So after he left WWE, went to TNA, did a MMA stint too. Before he went back to the WWE, he was supposed to be a bad guy, and Benji was the one teaching him how to be a bad guy.
Makes sense because he's like an actually good guy.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's awesome that we got to know like that that we know that it's Benji that helped him.
It's really cool.
And you know who was one of the acting coaches in WWE? I think he left like 3 years ago. Freddie Prinze Jr.
That sounds really good because doesn't he wrote for them or wrote for Marvel Comics or something?
He wrote for WWE SmackDown.
Yeah, Freddie Prinze Jr. is low key like a really good writer. I think for a lot of shows he's done some stuff too.
Yeah, Freddie Prinze Jr. He's still pretty like relevant, but nobody really noticed.
I think it's funny because like people are like, oh, I haven't seen you like in front of the camera and stuff, but like people work, dude. It's not like people disappear.
I know, right?
You know,
if only.
I always like really like Freddie Prinze Jr. That's really cool.
He's a huge pro wrestling fan.
Dude, that would be such a fun job writing for them too.
It is one of my dream jobs.
Mm-hmm. I love this too. Is like, I really like when people ham it up in wrestling.
Yep. For real.
I mean, that was like one of my favorite moments, like Hulk Hogan, when they're like hitting each other, like him and the Giant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's just like he's always like revving up, and then and that slam that was heard around the world where he just got him on that body slam, just picked him up and just slammed him.
Yep.
So yeah, that was like almost impossible back then. Until John Cena just did like 500 pounds on his shoulder.
John Cena's like a physical freak though.
He is, dude. It sucks because like a diehard pro wrestling fan won't really give him that credit.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a fucking freak.
I think like his era, like him and The Rock are like the two biggest superstars.
For real. And John Cena was actually at it longer.
Mm-hmm.
But like pro wrestling fans, man, they're the worst.
So I thought it was funny because I was like, he went through. When you think about like his starting gimmick when he was like just a goofy white rapper.
Well, that's actually his second gimmick.
But you know what I mean? But like, yeah, that like gimmick, but it was like he survived through that. You know what I mean? And
that was actually his best years, in my opinion.
That like the album was dope, but it was just like, you know, like he was able to transition from that.
Yeah, so people can forget about the albums.
Mm-hmm. I have it, dude.
Yeah, you have it?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, we need to do a listening party for our fans, bro. Whoever listens to us.
It was actually, it's a pretty catchy album for sure.
It is. It's a really good album. Did he have like a song with 50 Cent or some shit like that?
I don't know. He probably would have. Like he was actually pretty damn good at it.
Yeah, he was not that bad at rapping. Let me see. I'm gonna Google it right now.
I add. We're watching wrestling. It's the first episode, no coffee, dude. Just going with our water, going with Chex Mix.
What
I don't think
happened?
I don't think it's ever coming back.
What happened with the coffee?
Ah, I just didn't make it. I was like,
Oh,
so it's a fall? What?
I love how you're like, what?
How? Was he disqualified? I love when they don't give a fuck about the refs rules and they're like, no, we're just gonna battle this out.
and they push him out.
Mhm. This
So
is my favorite type of wrestling, dude.
because when it comes to pro wrestling, the ropes are used like if you hold on to it, it's a rope break.
Mm-hmm.
Like so, whatever holds that are going on, it's a rope break.
I love this shit. Like,
Wrestling
I
is
don't
so
know. I think the best part about the Attitude Era was like people were like getting their ass whooped in like shopping mall, like supermarkets, hospitals.
yeah. That was like
That's
the
what that's what made it so real for me as a kid. I was like, dude, these guys fight everywhere.
yeah. I believed it when I was a kid.
Whoa. Like I
So
still, it's holy cow, that was cool.
yeah, and that's like an old match. So what we're gonna watch now is like modern pro wrestling, and
Okay.
for a lot of like these like pro wrestling historians or pro wrestling fans, they won't even consider this pro wrestling because they're like,
Really?
oh, like back in the day, they actually it was more believable. And so you have Will Ospreay versus Ricochet.
Okay.
These two pro wrestlers, man, they're hybrids of pro wrestlers, man. They mix Japanese pro wrestling and lucha libre together,
Okay.
and yeah, they made it look like a more of a choreography. So it's like watching an anime, like in person.
Hmm.
So we're gonna see Will Ospreay versus Ricochet. Are you ready?
All right. Getting it up. Yep. Got it going.
All right.
Dude, I think Orange Cassidy is my favorite right now.
He's so funny, dude.
I love Orange Cassidy.
Me too, man. But like these guys are just such great high flyers. Orange Cassidy is really good,
Hmm.
even though he's more of like a comedic pro wrestler. Even though now that's a genre that's been talking about. It's comedic pro wrestling. But like the athleticism of pro wrestlers now, man.
Super sick. Ricochet.
Yeah, Ricochet is actually in the WWE right now,
Really?
and Will Ospreay is in NJPW, New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Dude, I love watching this shit. I think it's weird now. I'm like, would you rather me like watch football or wrestling? I'm like, I'd rather watch wrestling.
Yeah, it's a lot more entertaining, but you know
Wow.
that's what they're meant to do.
Quarterfinal. Ooh, that's cool. Wow.
Right? It's fucking insane.
Like they've
Uh,
utilized the ropes more.
What's your time right now?
My time,
Yeah,
I'm at 133.
133. Gotcha. Yeah, they use the ropes a lot more.
So is Defiant Wrestling? What is Defiant Wrestling?
It used to be What Culture Pro Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
You remember What Culture?
Mm-mm.
What Culture is like a news site like BuzzFeed, but in England, and they do like countdown like episodes on YouTube.
Okay.
But their What Culture Pro Wrestling like page has gotten so much popularity that they started a pro wrestling promotion.
Wow.
So these guys who were in charge of that left and started their own YouTube page called Cultaholic, and What Culture kind of like sold it to Defiant Pro Wrestling. So this is actually a British pro wrestling show, but now I don't think they're doing pro wrestling shows anymore.
This is crazy cool.
So this is independent.
Like a college teammate of mine who's a wrestler, he had his uncle. You could look him up. His name's Hardcore Craig. And he would just do crazy shit. Like they would have like a wrestling match at a baseball diamond, right?
Yeah.
Like in a baseball field, and he'd climb up to the top of like the fence and jump off.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
I wish like in Puerto Rican wrestling was like that.
Like that crazy stuff, like Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
Always was like, wow.
It was very hardcore back then.
Mm-hmm.
It's still kind of hardcore. So then you got Will Ospreay right now. He's like a superstar in Japan, dude.
Wow.
So these guys have like one's in the WWE now, the other one's like a superstar in Japan, and those are like the two best promotions to be at right now.
Is there people that do like cross promote or?
Yeah. So sometimes even people that are in AEW, which is the second biggest in the United States, they would have in their contracts, hey, am I allowed to wrestle on these independent shows in Japan? And they would allow it. But it has to be in the contract. There's some that are just strictly AEW.
Because they're contractors, right? They're not like employees.
Even if you're in the WWE where you can only strictly wrestle for them, you're still an independent contractor.
Okay.
So, like, for everyone that's listening, I would recommend you watching John Oliver on the WWE. He is discussing more about it. But you see how, like, they're just flying over, bro.
So much stamina and strength, dude.
Yeah.
Like the body types.
Yep.
Between this and the last one.
And, like, this is just one style. I'm not saying, like, pro wrestling's like this now, but
yeah,
this is the one that gains its most popularity, especially in the independent pro wrestling scene.
Well, it's fun to watch for sure, dude. I think like when we talked about competing with like UFC and stuff too. You know.
So like, okay, independent pro wrestling, the two main styles that actually get you more popular is Japanese pro wrestling and lucha libre.
Okay.
But then WWE never lost its American style, which is charisma based.
Okay.
And so WWE wants you to be as charismatic, as believable as an American pro wrestler like Hulk Hogan. You believe a guy like Hulk Hogan in the 80s would beat you up, right?
Yeah, 100%.
But a guy like Ricochet would be in the 80s, he would be like a jobber, bro. Because he was too small. No one would believe like a small guy would beat you up.
That's interesting because I feel like what Rey Mysterio and like borrowing that lucha libre.
He changed that whole game, dude. He's, I think, the smallest heavyweight champion still.
Wow.
At 5'6", and I think he was like 160 pounds.
Holy cow. And what he just did there, holy shit. Like when people are always like, it's not real.
That shit hurts.
Yeah, that hurts, dude.
Yeah, dude. That guy, I feel like he's underused in WWE right now. Ricochet.
Definitely. Like even the big guys in WWE, like what was the Viking tag team?
Oh yeah, the Viking Raiders.
Yeah, dude. Like I was seeing that big dude just doing backflips into people. I was like, what? Like handsprings.
Like how?
Yeah. Like world class athletes, dude. Like Otis, right?
Dude, that guy is hilarious.
And Dozer, I don't know, but yeah, he was at CSU Pueblo down here, and he was a wrestler.
Otis?
Mm-hmm.
He was in CSU?
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Yep.
That's so funny.
Freak athlete, dude.
And he was a wrestler?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, bro, I would not want to wrestle with that guy.
Oh yeah, dude. It's like those big dudes who are solid.
Yeah.
And there was another guy who played there at CSU Pueblo who was an old teammate of mine in high school named Tony Campton. And this guy was just a force of fucking muscle, dude. Just crazy. Just a big giant ball. Like almost like a second coming of Tony Siragusa, who played for the Ravens when they 2000 Super Bowl winners.
Jesus.
Yeah. Like that body type is just, please don't hug me. too hard, please.
Yeah, dude. I think the dad bod is coming back because there's a pro wrestler named Kevin Owens.
Uh,
Beer belly, bro. Beer
I
belly.
love
He
it.
does moonsaults like nothing.
I love it, dude.
So athletic.
It's like it's the core strength, dude. It's not necessarily what you look like.
Yep. It's dad bod season, bro.
I definitely saw Kevin Owens, dude.
Yeah.
It's my guy. Who's the dude in the UFC too? He knocked out Brendan Schaub.
Roy
And
Nelson.
yes, dude.
Yeah, dude. Big country.
Yes.
Yep. He's in Bellator now.
Holy cow, he's cool.
Yeah,
That's a sick move. I've never seen that. I got so much ADD right now, dude. Like this.
Yeah.
That's what I love about wrestling. It's just like what?
Crazy move, right?
Yeah. I've never seen that.
Yeah, dude.
What's kind of cool is like planning matches. Do you think he'd be like, dude, you want to like put me in this position?
Yeah. At this point, I think I don't really know much, but I know they choreograph it. But sometimes they just talk about it before their match,
Mm-hmm.
and they just live off of it. Like they just improvise.
I do think it's really cool when they're talking to each other on the match too, and like the ref is even helping direct.
Yep.
You know,
I feel like the referee is the director.
It's such good theater, dude. It really is. Like,
Yeah.
This is true professionals. I'm like, these are some of the best actors in the world.
Yeah, for sure. It's athletic theater.
Mm-hmm.
I'm obsessed with pro wrestling, dude.
It's fucking amazing.
Like if there was a really good pro wrestling card and a really like good MMA fight going on, I'm watching pro wrestling.
See, and I'm straight with you. I'm the same because like
Yeah.
I love it, but like the only like I've said this before in public and on podcasts. I'm like most UFC, the only person I'm gonna watch is Gagey. Or like if like now I'm like even for you, I'm like yeah, I'll support Carlos. Comments, that's my guy now too.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Gaethje. I'm like, I gotta go for Gaethje now.
Yeah, it's our friends of the podcast,
buddy.
dude.
Yeah, that's Gary's buddy, man. He's my buddy too.
I take shit way too personal, dude. Like I think I was at a bar recently and like people were talking about that fight. And I was like, don't say anything.
Bro, I'm thankful that I'm in Albuquerque because no one really talks shit about Carlos.
Yeah.
But
who the fuck would, dude?
I know, because it's in Albuquerque, bro. That's your home. That's your home team. Because we don't have pro wrestling, like pro teams over here.
Yeah. You have like Greg Jackson's gym, dude.
Yeah, that's the pro team here, bro.
Yeah.
John Jones is the pro team. Carlos Condit, George St. Pierre back then, Rashad Evans.
Oh yeah.
Oof.
It was kind of cool. It's like they're so linked to it too in Colorado because they were coming up to UNC, with like Shane Carwin and those guys too.
Yeah, and Colorado's not becoming the big gym now.
It's definitely just like cool how shit's evolving. I guess like segues, like who is the big training ground besides like the WWE next for like wrestlers? I mean, that's one thing. Like, how do you even get into that?
Like pro wrestlers?
Yeah.
So NXT is in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
That's if you're already have an athletic background and you already like know a lot about pro wrestling. I would recommend you going to, I think it's in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just don't know anything about pro wrestling, just anything like in your local, just to start out, like in Colorado, there's Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling, which is now under OVW, Ohio Valley Wrestling, which is run by Al Snow. Al Snow was a legend. I don't know if you remember him.
I remember Al Snow.
Yeah, Al Snow is actually now in charge of the Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling in Colorado.
Really?
Yeah, he just got it like a couple of weeks ago or a month ago. It's either that or you go to Lance Storms' school in Canada, or Booker T's school in Texas, or in California in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, or in Philadelphia of like Ring of Honor. I don't know right now during this pandemic, but like there's some legit schools. But after that, it's just making a name for yourself in the independent scene and then try out for WWE. If you don't make it, then try out for Japan. Because if you don't make it in WWE, you'll certainly make it in Japan.
Yeah.
But in Japan, you had to like pay your dues. You had to sometimes clean the dojo. You had to actually learn martial arts.
Really.
Yeah, dude. So Daniel Bryan shared the same studio with Lyoto Machida
Really.
for NJPW.
That's really cool.
And that whole Lyoto Machida drinking urine is the truth.
Yeah.
It was on Daniel Bryan's autobiography, bro. I read it. It was so
He's
good.
like, what beer are you drinking?
He's like, my beast.
Like, beast.
My beast. Yeah.
Machida, that was a guy that was like, he was so unorthodox, but
People found it.
yeah, they figured it out.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But he was really fun to watch too.
Lyoto Machida was awesome, man. He's still
Mhm.
fighting in Bellator.
Mm-hmm. That was crazy. So I'd probably, if I was wrestling, I'd probably rather wear those pants than
Long
the
tights.
spandex. Yeah, long tights.
Yeah. Same. I don't know what makes like pro wrestlers go, yeah, I'm gonna wear like trunks, like speedos.
Yeah.
I never understood it. Maybe if like I got really in shape and worked on my quads, then I'd be like, fuck it, I'm wearing trunks, bro.
No shit.
Yeah, dude. Thick thighs don't lie, bro. I'm gonna show it off.
Like, I think a lot of, I mean, they all kind of look alike and pull it off real well.
Yeah.
But I don't know, something about that full costume too is kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, like if you get, I don't know, Undertaker was just super cool for me.
Undertaker was a beast. But then you got Stone Cold who just wore black tights.
And
With
him and
nothing on it.
Goldberg looked almost identical, dude.
Yeah, dude. I didn't know who was who when I was a kid.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, Stone Cold's wrestling both.
Yeah,
Like,
dude. For me, Chris Jericho was like my main like favorite wrestler when I was a kid.
I thought he was so goofy when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I thought he was so goofy. And then there was like some characters like the Big Boss Man, and then Sergeant Slaughter. You know.
Yeah, those are some characters.
Yeah. The Iron Sheik. I think he has the best Twitter account.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone says the same thing, bro. He calls everyone jabronis. It's so great. And now it's a word on Webster's dictionary.
Yep.
Jabroni. He's a jabroni. And The Rock gave him like that the credit, like, oh no, I got jabroni from the Iron Sheik.
Yeah. Just like, Iron Sheik is the shit, dude.
He is, man. Did you watch his documentary?
I didn't see that one, no.
That one's good too,
Yeah.
man. You would see how fucked up his body is.
Oof.
And he was so addicted to crack and
The one I did watch was Scott Hall's one.
oh man, he now relapsed.
That sucks.
Yeah, dude.
Because I watch it maybe like I don't know how many times. Like I'm Reza Hamon, and
Yeah.
like the girl's like, "Why'd you never call me back?" It's like, "I'm done with you. I'd probably scar her heart for life."
Bro,
Love is just a game. But in the ring, it's no game. I will scar you forever.
bro, and then you flick the toothpick right
Yeah.
on the screen.
Yeah.
I loved his character. Razor Ramon was this shit.
Razor Ramon is the best, dude. Razor Ramon.
And he was like the whitest dude on earth.
I love it, dude. Because like when he was talking about that documentary, he just like was doing it, like joking around and doing Scarface.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's the character.
That's your guy. That's
like-
your gimmick.
It really is like me just playing a Cuban dude.
Yeah,
you know?
really. And
Like
you know
if I-
he's the one that convinced Sting to play Sting.
Really.
Yeah,
I
so
know.
yeah, so he was the one that convinced Sting to watch the movie The Crow and get the gimmick from that movie.
Because that Sting was like, I was like, he's so cool. The
Yeah.
bat just coming from like this shit always cracks me up when he like pulls the mask off and he's got his same paint.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's funny because Sting before that whole Crow gimmick was just a surfer dude
Mm-hmm.
with like a buzz cut.
Sting was another one of my faves for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
He's a legend.
Wow.
Damn, bro.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so good.
Dude, I haven't spoken because I'm like, that's in
Yeah. It's legit. It's fucking
this
legit.
is I haven't seen wrestling like this, honestly.
Yeah.
Like Lucha Libre is different than this.
Yeah, it really is. It's their
Yeah.
own hybrid.
Wow.
It's
Do you like wrestling movies too?
oh dude, I love it all.
Yeah, like I watched one recently. It was really heartwarming. Like a really good like the Peanut Butter Falcon.
I haven't seen Peanut Butter Falcon.
It was like Shia LaBeouf and uh Don Johnson's daughter.
Is it
Yeah.
like pro wrestling or just
Yeah,
amateur
well,
wrestling?
like so this young kid or young man who's Down syndrome wants to be a professional wrestler.
Oh my
So
god, I haven't
and
seen
he's
that.
and he's staying at this like senior facility, and he like watches this tape where this wrestler is the Peanut Butter Falcon, or not the Peanut Butter Falcon, he's like the Crusher or something like that. And he wants to go to his training facility, and they're trying
Damn,
to get to this training facility.
that's insane.
He wants to be a professional wrestler. I was like, this is really cool.
Jesus, I need to see
Like
it now.
Jake the Snake Roberts is an asshole at the end, and is the guy who wrestles.
That's the guy that I hope doesn't relapse, man.
Jake the Snake. Yeah.
Because his Hall of Fame speech was heartwarming as shit.
Dude, those, yeah, I don't root for people to relapse, dude. It's like,
Me neither.
it's definitely one of those people who have like two separate lives. Or like, this was me before I stopped like getting obliterated. I think like, Mark Maron he's not a wrestler, obviously, but like Mark Maron is like a pinnacle of that.
Yeah, dude, I forgot about that.
Like,
Mark Maron
the,
for me is like I'm more attached to him.
it's interesting. Like, I think when I think of like Mark Maron, because I know he's still doing it, but like Joe Rogan's like now become the big in this, at least in this administration. But
Yeah.
like Mark Maron had Obama on his podcast.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like that is, I think that's like the biggest thing ever, really.
Yeah, for real. Until you got Donald Trump on your podcast, bro. Come on,
Yeah.
Joe. You need to get
Yeah, right.
Trump on your podcast, dude.
I mean, I mean, this might be the peak though, when he's like, could have had them debating. You know what I mean?
Dude, for real. I wanted to see them debate on their podcast.
I
On his
really
podcast.
feel like it would have been a lot calmer.
Yeah, for real, dude. Everyone's just chilling out, probably doing some DMT with Joe.
Like presidents smoking weed. That would you
Yeah.
would never have an argument for criminalizing it ever again.
Dude, it'll probably end up Trump and Biden just making out at the end.
Yep. Did you like that?
That's all we need, man.
Will Ospreay, and he's gonna beat his ass.
I haven't really watched this match before. That's why I picked it.
I'm glad you picked it, dude. This is a good one.
Yeah. I just know these two
What?
wrestlers.
The fuck?
Whew.
I've never.
Damn, bro. Damn. What an ending, bro.
Dude.
Jesus. That was amazing. That
I've
was a
never
great
seen
match.
anything like this.
Yeah, dude, welcome to the world of pro wrestling. It's fucking ridiculous now. And this is only 3 years ago.
That's sick. I like this.
Are we gonna make Unemployed Commentators a pro wrestling podcast?
Fuck. I might have to.
I know, dude, because there's so much to talk about. Way too much to talk about.
Kayfabe. You want to get some kayfabe, babe?
Kayfabe, babe. Oh yeah, that's it. That's all the pro wrestling.
I'm like legitimately like, I think he's actually hurt. So
He
like,
probably is.
So I'm like
Probably
wrapped
is.
in. I'm like, he's probably fucking hurt.
Yeah, man. It's just crazy how much pro wrestling has just evolved.
And they have a okay, we might have to watch this Will Ospreay versus Kushida next
Yeah.
time, dude.
Yeah.
That was sick, dude. Thank you for that.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
Mhm.
I love pro wrestling so much. I think after MMA is like my second favorite thing to watch.
Like when like yeah, movies.
Yeah.
Movies are up there.
Yeah. No, it's like it goes like MMA, pro wrestling, and then there is like the other sports and then movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that's where I'm at right now, especially during this pandemic, because like pro wrestling still didn't die, man.
Dude. All right, NASCAR race now. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Are we doing NASCAR next?
I don't know, dude. Only one lap. I can't stomach 500. I mean, you're interesting and so am I, but I don't how we I don't even know how we'd fill time.
Bro, I
We'd
think
have to read a book.
we would have to do a drinking game for every lap. We would have to take a shot.
That's the only way I could do it.
I
Like
guess.
I watch highlights for sure, dude.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know, man. That's how I feel about the golfing like episode that we still haven't done yet.
we'll get to it.
Okay. Are we gonna do that when you're in town?
Probably.
Let's do it when you're in town. I think it'll be easier.
A
It'll be
lot
easier to
easier.
watch
A lot easier.
for sure.
All right, dude. This is a great episode. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for
Yeah.
watching. We're signing out.
Yep. And for
Damn,
you
boy.
motherfuckers, stay employed.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, what's up? It's Gary Miller, one half of Unemployed Commentators and owner of Best Worst Cantina Media. If you guys like this episode, make sure you like and subscribe. And if we have guests, be sure to follow them, check their stuff out. We're always lucky. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Like I said, if you like this podcast, like it, share it, follow it. We exist because you guys allow us to exist. We're going to keep creating as long as you guys keep watching. Thank you.